So you got a lot of people listening to the show and they're like, okay, Bretton Woods 3, commodity price inflation, changing world order. This all sounds very scary. What the hell do I do? And I know you can't give direct investment advice, but like, can you give any sort of like guidance? Like if someone's just like, listen, I need to like, how do I position myself for like the coming sort of change and volatility that will encompass that change?
Can I just jump in there quickly with like one 2-word answer, which is tangible assets would be the way I would say it. But Keith, I'm sure, has a much more kind of.
Are you talking about like
eloquent.
strictly like hard assets? Like,
yeah, but
like
that means
gold,
whether it's
real
land,
estate, commodities.
like whether it's land. I mean, whether it's physical gold, whether it's your house. I think it's very, whatever your house is priced in, whether it's bananas or Cocoa Puffs or whatever. I mean, it's still standing and you can still use it. But I'm sure there's much more kind of elegant and more sophisticated ways, which Keith will tell us in a minute. But for me, it's tangible assets or claims on tangible assets.
I wouldn't be fearful of it. I think what's really great today is there are most investors today, they have access to a lot of different sources, like such as this show, for example. And other, like, again, guys, Twitter is outstanding. You can get really close to some really smart shops out there very quickly, and you're able to just educate yourself and with yourself. And then when you're armed with that, go ask whoever you're having your money managed, ask the right questions, understand it, and then you can set yourself up for it. I don't think it's necessary. There's only two ways, only two things you can do. Yeah, there's a lot of things, but as long as you understand where the risks are, and then you're able to, because there's lots of tools out there to help protect your money. Like there really are. Curling up in a GIC, that's not one of them, because you're on the bank's balance sheet if you do that. But that's a very important consideration. People don't understand that. If a bank gets in trouble and your money is on the bank's balance sheet, you just become a creditor to the bank. If you're in an investment portfolio, your assets are segregated from the bank's balance sheet. So in Canada, they have specific rules for that, and you have to worry about those things. But again, like people have easy access to more information today, and the more you know, the better informed you'll be. Again, I'd be very excited about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of brings me to a point as well, just to kind of, as we're talking about all this, we opened up the show around, rate hikes and how much they can hike and blah, blah, blah. There's a good piece that was put out by David Doyle, McCurry Research. So he's, again, pretty respected guy here in Canada, but so he put out a chart, and we'll post this here, but he put out a chart highlighting. So he's like, if you account for all the debt in the system, so if you account for all the debt here in Canada, that if we actually do get, I think he said 6 rate hikes this year. So as if you actually do get the overnight rate to about 1.5%, that it would be equivalent to the tightest monetary tightening since 1980. So again, just to reiterate, so basically what he's essentially saying is that your Paul Volcker moment in Canada is taking rates from 0 to 1.5%. Given the amount of debt that's built up in the system, in this economy, the amount of leverage in the household and corporate sector.
Does that include inflation though? Like inflation at 5
I
and
mean,
6,
that's the thing, right? I mean, I couldn't tell you.
That's fair. That's okay.
Query Research, David Doyle, I think he's a respectable person.
He is.
Could he be wrong? Could he be wrong? Very much so. But I think it was a very interesting chart that they put out, because I that's kind of my view. And I think it's been, my view from the get-go here is that the rate hikes are coming. But when you really factor in the amount of indebtedness that we've talked about, which is what Keith is saying, that, at the end of the day, this debt will have to be restructured in some shape or form over the next, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now, that there will be some sort of restructuring. Central bank digital currencies will be involved. Perhaps what Zoltan talked about, commodity-based currencies. There'll be some sort of Bretton Woods 3 system, and there'll be, certainly be winners and losers from whatever that new system looks like.